I want to go through each region. I want you to tell me who you got coming out of it, just off the cuff.
Can we bring up the West real quick?
Yeah, you want to start in the West?
Yeah, bring up the West, just because you went ahead and mentioned Tom Izzo at Michigan State. So Michigan State does make it in as the 9. That matchup against Mississippi State is fascinating. And I saw a stat, this is why I wanted to bring this one up quickly, that Tom Izzo has a 65% win percentage, I believe, when he's a lower seed in the tournament.
That doesn't shock me.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible stat, but I mean, Michigan State, they always play such a tough schedule. They're always ready at the end of the year. They may not have the sexiest record out of anybody, but they're always playing somebody on an aircraft carrier, like right when the season starts, like Duke or North Carolina or somebody, but they always schedule. Tom Izzo always schedules really tough because it pays off at the end, helps you with net, and it can help sneak you in the tournament like they did here. But let's go ahead and start in the West, David. I want to say who y'all got coming out of it, just off the cuff. Nothing's set in stone yet. We're obviously going to release our brackets before Thursday when the tournament starts. Give me who you got coming out, and then maybe a couple upsets or a team to watch out for. I'll start. It's going to be hard for me not to have North Carolina, even though they lost to NC State coming out of this. Yeah. I like defensively where they're at. Offensively, they're not as explosive as they've been. But you have experience. You got Baycott down low, right? You've got Harrison Ingram's got to start playing better. The transfer from Stanford, we know how talented he is. But you've got the ACC Player of the Year in RJ at guard. You've got Cormac Ryan, the Notre Dame transfer, who kind of gives you that spot shooter. I like North Carolina to come out, but I'm looking at Alabama and New Mexico. I'm telling you guys right now, New Mexico is a problem. They're a problem. They've got the great storyline guard that's undersized that can go score. They play physical. The conference that they played in was really tough. Don't be shocked if New Mexico beats Clemson and then beats Baylor. I've actually got New Mexico right now going to the Sweet 16. I don't believe in Baylor, but I got North Carolina coming out of this. But I tell you what, Bama should get by College of Charleston. That Alabama possible Grand Canyon, Alabama possible St. Mary's matchup could be very, very interesting in the second round because of the style of play. If I'm Bama, I feel like they can out-athlete St. Mary's a little bit more. Grand Canyon's got a guard that can really go get it. In Alabama, they've struggled in games where teams can match their intensity on the offensive end and go up and down. So give me North Carolina, but watch out for New Mexico as a double-digit seed, fellas. Watch out for them.
Yeah, I think you'd have to like North Carolina coming out of this. Another possible interesting storyline is if North Carolina and Arizona, the 1 and 2 seeds, meet up in the 8. That could be the Caleb Love game. Caleb Love transferring from North Carolina to Arizona. I've been so disappointed with Alabama throughout the stretch of this season. They're the 4 seed here. They give up 100 points more than any other team in the country.
Well, they got a better draw than Auburn did. It's amazing.
And that's true. And they really miss like a presence like Bediako down low from a season ago. They really miss that. But I think that they'll benefit greatly from, like you said, not having to meet up with an SEC team. Teams that they've had to go toe-to-toe with. With that being said, another thing I was thinking about, Dayton gets the 7 seed in this, which is pretty interesting.
I mean, look, the A-10, I got respect for them. I don't believe in Dayton. I don't think Dayton's getting past the first round, to be honest with you. I like Nevada. I think Nevada's actually favored in that game.
Mm-hmm. I think they are.
I think they're a 1.5-point favorite. I think that Arizona-Nevada game in the second round could be very, very interesting.
Arizona's going to blow it. They're going to blow it. Like right now, the way I look at bracket, who's the highest seed that's going to blow it first? Mm-hmm. All right? I put Purdue in there. I put Tennessee in there. Mm-hmm. I put Arizona in there. I'm telling you, look, the Tennessee St. Peter's game, I know it's not the same St. Peter's, but it's fun to talk about. All right? It's fun to talk about. I don't think Arizona's going to make it long in this tournament. I do think Nevada beats them in the second round. I agree with you there, Jake. I like North Carolina to come out of the West. Man, just North Carolina is so deep, and they're experienced, right? Especially in the tournament, have experienced guards. I do think, I believe in Baylor. I believe in Baylor on the defensive side of the ball, the way they play, the physical way they play, and how the game gets reps going to dictate a lot of that. But I do think Baylor's defensively is going to take them a couple wins. I do have Clemson beating New Mexico. I do think New Mexico is a great story. But Alabama, how much do you trust them? You know, how much, if the three's not going in, can you trust Alabama to play defense and actually get a bucket when you need it the most? I think the first 4 against Charleston is going to be close, but I do think they win that game. I think Grand Canyon's the sneakiest team. The sneakiest team in the West region. The more I look at it, the more I like it. I wouldn't be surprised if Grand Canyon beat St. Mary's and then next beat Alabama.
You will hear a ton about the 12-5 upsets. Here's what I say every year. Everybody's going to be super hot on Grand Canyon and McNeese. That's all you're going to hear all week leading up to Thursday. Watch out, McNeese going to beat Gonzaga. Watch out, Grand Canyon is going to beat St. Mary's. It's always the 12-5s that they're not talking about. UAB, San Diego State. Why is that? Because that 5 seed hears that stuff all week. All week. So there's no sneaking up on anybody. McNeese is not going to sneak up on Gonzaga because everybody's so hot for Will Wade. I mean, if he walks in a room, people start crying like he's Elvis Presley right now. And I love me some Will Wade. I think Vanderbilt should go hire him, or Louisville or somebody like that. But at the end of the day, it's the 12-5s that you don't hear about, that they're not talking about. The San Diego State UAB, a great example is James Madison, Wisconsin. A lot of people are high on James Madison. I love the way Wisconsin's playing right now, to be honest with you.
Hot.
Chucky Hepburn, that game against Illinois, I mean, that was just back and forth.
How about
guys
when they beat Purdue?
Making shots.
Do we have that clip, actually?
You talking about
clip when Wisconsin sent it to overtime?
You talking about with the last 3 seconds? Yeah. Let's run this. It was 64. It was 66-64 with 2.5 seconds. I mean, this is just. It's not like it was an amazing play. He didn't even set a screen. He just makes one inside.
That's a really good take.
And he tried to blow the layup.
That's a really good take.
But they were able to end up beating Purdue. But all right, guys, let's move on. Let's go to the South here, where Houston is the one. I've talked about Houston all year. All year. I know they got drubbed by Iowa State, but I'm just telling you, man, the way this team is built, they're built for tournament play, especially against teams that haven't seen them. It's going to be very hard for me to not have Houston coming out of this. I like Wisconsin to beat James Madison. Everybody's going to be in love with James Madison. I don't think Vermont's good enough to beat Duke. NC State and Texas Tech, it's a great story, but so is Hansel and Gretel. The team I'm telling you, watch out for. And I got to know if Kolek from Marquette, the point guard, is healthy. Because if not, boys, I've got Florida running in. Look, Kentucky, Oakland, I'm taking the over. I got Florida beating Marquette and being, to me, the most dangerous team. I know they're not a double-digit seed. I know NC State's hot. But give me Florida, all right, to make a little bit of a run here to beat Marquette in the second round. But there's no way in hell I'm not picking Houston to come out.
Is that even with the injury?
Even with the injury.
To the 7-footer?
Even with the injury.
Gotcha.
Because, I mean, they've got.
It helps when you have more than one.
Yeah, they've got some.
They've been to the island a lot lately.
2 huge Australians and one guy who doesn't pronounce his last name right.
We've been doing
Vakaitis.
a lot of business with them.
Yeah, they have Vakaitis, man.
Yeah, Vakaitis. That's exactly.
How much do we believe in Kentucky?
That's a big question.
How much? Because, look, when it comes to Cal, you say it all the time. When is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen unless you have Anthony Davis?
I did hear that he said he may play both his 7-footers at the same time in this tournament. But when you have the scoring, I mean, you look at Reeves, you look at Dillingham, you look at Shepard. I mean, even Aguero, the way that I believe it's Aguero's his last name. He's kind of their tweener guy. He's not a guard, but Kentucky seemed to kind of figure it out. I just look at Kentucky. If you go through it, you know, they got Texas Tech or NC State, obviously in the second round. It's just what happens when you run into Florida, a team that you know, right, that you've played. I mean, which would be in the Sweet 16, I believe. I don't believe in Duke. I'm just telling you right now.
I don't either.
My biggest question is I think Wisconsin beats Duke in the second round.
That wouldn't be surprising. I think that game would probably be a pick'em.
Yeah, it'd be your 5-4 matchup.
Yeah.
But, you know, Nebraska A&M, I like A&M right now. I know we got a bunch of Nebraska fans that watch the show. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be upset if you guys won. But I just like Wade Taylor. I like Boots Radford. And look, Tamanaga is nice, but I think A&M can shut them down defensively. Solomon Washington. I feel like A&M is more athletic than Nebraska is.
Man, give me the Chinese Steph Curry.
Yeah, the chef. The
Chinese Chef Curry.
What about you, Debbie? You got Houston coming out of there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going to be difficult not to have Houston coming out, even though I was taking double takes at the TV when Iowa State was holding them to 35 points there with a couple minutes left in the Big 12 championship game. But the things I'm looking for in tournament play where you have to win 6 straight is the defense and the old guards. So, you know, when defense is able to travel, that's one of the same reasons that I really like Auburn, honestly, when we get to the East. I mean, we're going to talk about them, but, you know, the physicality that those sorts of teams are able to impose on their opponents means so much, especially when, like what we talked about with Alabama, when the three's not falling, because it's not going to fall for 6 straight games.
That's true.
God, we're so chalky right now.
Well,
we're so chalky right now, boys. We think both 1 seeds coming out. so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a crazy stretch to have Houston and North Carolina. Let's let it rock and roll. And again, nothing is set in stone yet. I got to know about some of these injuries, right? I know Northwestern is beat up too. Who's I think Boo Booey's healthy, but outside of that, I mean, they're a walking triage tent. All right, let's get to the Midwest here. Purdue, we talked about having the easiest path. I got Tennessee coming out of here.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee beats Purdue to go to the Final Four. I think a Tennessee-Creighton matchup could be very interesting. But, boys, I'm looking at South Carolina, Oregon. Very interesting. South Carolina, Lamont Paris picked to finish 14th in the SEC. They ended up getting a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament, playing an Oregon team that is now healthy. They were missing one of their best players for about half of the year. He's come back. We saw what Oregon did in the Pac-12. But, guys, I got South Carolina meeting Creighton in the second round. I've got Samford beating Kansas. As long as Dickinson and McCullers are hurt, we need to find out about Hunter Dickinson and McCullers. I think Gonzaga beats McNeese. It ends up for me. I have Purdue, like I said, and Tennessee in the Elite Eight. Give me Tennessee moving on to go to the Final Four.
Yeah, I like Tennessee too. Kansas was my pick to win the national championship before the season. They're the 4 seed here, but just like we talked about with Ron Slay, whenever you take 2 All-Americans from a 5-man starting lineup and move them off the board. Now, again, I'm not saying both those guys or either of those guys aren't going to play, but are they going to be the type of players we know they're capable of being for Kansas? And like
Samford's scary, man.
Round 1 matchup. Purdue got such a great draw. Purdue really did get a good draw, but I like Tennessee, man. I think I'm going to have them coming out of this region.
Oh, here it always comes. I got to change my.
David, I think they're going to win.
Now I got to
You
change.
should say they're going to win.
God, Creighton's looking a lot better.
That's who
right
I'm
now.
going with. I'm sorry, I can't walk in here and trust Purdue and Tennessee to win the games they're supposed to. I can't, even if there's a better
You're going
team.
with Creighton?
I'm going with Creighton to make
I don't
it out
trust
of the
Creighton.
Midwest.
What's Creighton done in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, what are these? I mean, they haven't lost with as much expectations as Purdue and Tennessee.
Someone has to
That's
win
for
this
damn
region.
sure.
Yeah, somebody's got to win.
This will be the year
What if the
Gonzaga
South
does
Carolina?
it.
No,
This will be the year. We haven't talked enough about them. Everybody's left
No
him out.
superstar.
No superstar. Timmy's not there for his 14th year. This will be the year Gonzaga comes out with it. But fellas, I cannot trust Purdue or Tennessee to win the games they're supposed to.
That is understandable. I mean, Braden Smith got hurt too for Purdue against Wisconsin. Hurt his ankle. That's we'll see how he is. All right, let's get to the East here, the Death region, which of course I'm getting punished for some odd reason. Look, UConn is going to be the perennial pick. All right, we know that. No, that's not going to sneak up on anybody. But I tell you what, picking this one's about as hard as it's going to get. I'm going to throw this out there, okay? I got Drake beating Iowa State in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I know Iowa State, they're hot right now. Everybody loves them. They'll handle South Dakota State, who's still going to be looking for that first NCAA tournament win. I got Drake beating Washington State. All right, I know Washington State plays nerd ball. That's great. Tucker DeVries, coach's son, like 6'8", nasty with it. Could take over the tournament. Like, he's really that good. Drake, I don't know, just something smells right in the Ovaltine, buddy. I got Drake beating Iowa State in the second round. Duquesne getting an 11 seed absolutely blew my mind. The FAU Northwestern game, I don't think FAU is, everybody's so hooked on what FAU did last year.
It's not the same team.
I know they returned like 8 guys, but they don't look the same. And don't give me that, they don't start playing until the tournament starts. Your ass waited way too long if that's the case. That's not how it works. That Northwestern game, I think, is a pick 'em. UAB right now against San Diego State. I kind of like the matchup that UAB has with Gaines and Vasquez are playing really, really well right now. Look, if you're Auburn, you just got to get past Yale.
Hey, won the SEC championship, guys. You did what you're supposed to.
I got the 4 seed coming out of this region.
I'm telling you, if there was a
the
team that was built to beat UConn, you're rolling 10 deep.
I like the way they play.
I'm just telling you right now.
27 wins on the season, and 26 of them are by double digits.
I'm just telling you, this Auburn-UConn Sweet 16 possible matchup, I want to jinx it. All I know is the code yesterday had Auburn beating UConn. I'm just saying, here's this part that sucks, though. Typically, if you're in the region with the number 1 overall seed, if you're able to upset that number 1 overall seed, it means you got a lot easier path, like in the Sweet 16, to get to the Final Four. Right, like Purdue does. That ain't the case here. I mean, you beat UConn in the Sweet 16. Congratulations. You probably get Illinois. All right, or you're gonna end up running into Iowa State. So it's not like, oh, well, we can kind of take a deep breath. But this East, I don't think you're going to see a ton of upsets outside of Drake. I got Drake beating Washington State. I got Drake beating Iowa State. Then I got Drake losing to Illinois. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this. I got to have UConn coming out. I mean, they've been the best team in basketball all year.
You're chalk.
It's not close. Hey, I had Creighton 3 seed. Come on now. Not close. When it comes to I just can't. When it comes to Auburn and Bragg, I'm just going to pick us to lose every game. It's just the way I do things. FAU's not the same team. I think the San Diego State, I don't know if they're getting talked about enough. The way they play basketball, phenomenal defensive team.
Ledee, I like Ledee down low.
They can. The defense travels when it comes to this, and like all the shots aren't going to be going in all the time. What do you lean on? You lean on that defense. UAB is also a good basketball team. But I like Drake a lot too.
I'm telling you, man.
The more I watch and like look, there's something about when you have 3 to 4 guys with headbands running around out there that I believe.
It's just making sense.
Right? Making the unselfish pass, the extra shot. I care more about my teammates than myself. We're all in this together mentality. That's what I can get behind.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull the 3 out of nowhere. Maybe I'll pull it out. Let's run some offense.
Absolutely. Yeah, Drake's a team to watch out for.
Without a doubt. We want to know what you think. Who do you got coming out? Who's your upset? Like I said. Right, YouTube, it's here. It's March Madness. We're going to 100 trillion subscribers. Hopefully we get there by the end of the month. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it. And tell somebody else to do it, because that's just an American thing to do. And you may win your bracket because of it.